Self-defense brigades are popping up all throughout Mexico, and these are individuals that are carrying out vigilante justice against drug cartels and gangs. So one thing that we're seeing happen quite often in Mexico is businesses and business owners are being forced to pay drug cartels a certain amount of money every month. And a lot of people are getting sick of it because it's really destroying their livelihood. I mean, of course, the violence in Mexico is escalating, so that's hurting their businesses. And then they have to pay the cartels on top of it. So these self-defense brigades are taking up arms and they are fighting against these violent cartels. And from what I've read so far, you know, the Associated Press is saying that they've been pretty successful in areas like Guerrero. So that's a good thing. But at the same time, you know, of course, it's an extremely dangerous thing to do, fighting back against the cartels, because they're completely ruthless and they'll stop at nothing to get you and your family.
This is a serious story, but
yeah.
My favorite part of the story so far was when you said Guerrero. Okay, okay. Anything happened in Guadalajara?
All right.
Okay, sorry.
I wanted to pronounce it correctly.
Okay, God bless, right. God bless. Number one, it seems like a positive development because at least some people are fighting back. Number two, I'm really worried because then this is how quasi-civil wars start. Then you got these guys who are lawless versus a new set of guys who are lawless. The law is nowhere to be found, and that spells trouble. And by the way, you think that at some point those guys who are drunk on power might not also do some bad things? It starts out with good intentions. It looks pretty good so far, and somebody's got to stick up for the citizens of Mexico, right? So, you know, part of me is like, yeah, go get him. Another part's like, oh boy, this could lead to some serious danger, right?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, of course it's not to this extent because, you know, in our country we have people stealing money from us as well, and it's Wall Street. So we're seeing vigilante justice against them, and it's carried out through Anonymous, right? And with Anonymous, you're kind of like, do I support them or not? Vigilante justice, it's illegal and it's dangerous. What if they abuse their power at some point? Which they haven't so far, so all the credit in the world to them. But at the same time, like in Mexico, it's such a terrible situation because there's that element of violence there as well. You have politicians, members of the military, members of law enforcement that are corrupt. So people feel helpless and they don't know what to do. So I don't blame them at all for wanting to create these self-defense brigades.
Right, and then there's hacking like Anonymous does.
Right.
And then there's real hacking like that's happening in Mexico. Those are two different things.
Exactly.
And so that's why vigilante justice done on the street level can get out of hand pretty quickly. Now look, it reminds me exactly of what the US went through when we had prohibition. You'd get the huge mobs, and what would the mobs do next? They'd go shake down business owners. It's, you know, the same pattern over and over again. So is it surprising that the drug cartels would then shake down business owners in Mexico? Of course not. And now, finally, somebody's trying to fight back. But the real answer isn't any of this. The real answer is to legalize marijuana and I think other forms of drugs so you can cut off the money to the drug cartels that's led this situation to spiral out of control.